You open social media and see influencers flaunting designer clothes, exotic vacations, and luxury cars. It's tempting to believe that looking rich, at least on the outside, is a fast track to happiness and respect. But there's another path that might be more fulfilling, one that involves looking or living more simply, even if you can afford more. Think of Gandhi, who wore homespun cloth to align with India's poorest under British rule. He had the resources to dress like a London-trained lawyer, but he chose humility to connect with everyday people. Early Christian monastics renounced wealth to focus on faith and service, and Buddhist monks wear plain robes to emphasize detachment from consumerism. Their decisions weren't about glamorizing poverty. They believed that freeing themselves from material obsessions allowed them to live more authentically, build empathy, and find deeper meaning. In modern times, a similar spirit lives on. Some people dress down or adopt minimalistic lifestyles intentionally. For many, especially those 18 to 35, the pressure to appear wealthy is fueled by social media's endless highlight reel. We see how easy it is to get trapped in a loop of consumption, buying one thing to look successful, then needing the next upgrade to keep it up. This cycle often leads to stress, financial strain, and shallow satisfaction. When you remove the pressure to show off, you can invest your resources in pursuits that truly make you happy: genuine relationships, personal growth, and memorable experiences. Choosing to look or live more modestly isn't about faking poverty. It's about redirecting your time and money toward what matters most: hobbies, travel, quality time with friends, education, or creative projects, rather than keeping up a glamorous facade. Today, we'll explore why looking poor, or simply not trying to look rich, can be important, particularly in a youth-driven culture that worships wealth. We'll discuss deeper motivations, the psychological and social payoffs, how this approach fosters authentic happiness, and how to avoid ethical pitfalls. If you're tired of chasing trends or want to break free from the never-ending loop of consumption, keep watching. What it means to look poor, or not look rich. When we say looking poor, we're not talking about true poverty, which is an involuntary and often devastating condition. We're talking about minimizing outward signals of wealth, wearing simpler clothes, living in a modest apartment, driving an older car, or skipping luxury items you could afford. People do this for various reasons: to avoid the endless cycle of consumption, to spend their money on genuine lasting happiness rather than fleeting status, to gain empathy for those who face financial struggles daily. This deliberate choice can fundamentally shift how you see yourself, how others see you, and what you find meaningful. You may discover that when you're not flaunting a fancy car or designer clothes, people treat you differently. That difference can feel jarring, but ultimately shows who values you for who you are, rather than what you own. The trap of looking rich. Social media and modern marketing push us to believe we always need the newest, flashiest thing, like a brand new Apple Watch, the latest phone, or a luxury car. Showing off these purchases can feel rewarding in the moment because you might get admiration or likes, but it often fuels comparison and envy, both in you and others, overshadowing more genuine ways to connect. It can also distract you from deeper joys and personal growth. Constantly seeking the next prestige item is like running on a treadmill. You're stuck in place, always needing the next upgrade. Once you buy one luxury item, the excitement fades and you crave more. This cycle can consume your finances and leave you chasing an illusion of success. Friends or acquaintances might flock around, but you'll naturally wonder, do they care about me, or do they just like my stuff? Trying to maintain this facade can become stressful or even lead to debt. Most importantly, extensive research shows that material goods only offer short-lived satisfaction. True fulfillment stems from relationships, purpose, and experiences you can't buy in a store. Why young adults might care. Many of those in the 18-35 years range juggle student loans, high rent, and uncertain job markets. Social media magnifies the pressure to look like you have it all figured out. Fancy cars, trendy wardrobes, frequent travel. Stepping away from luxury displays can help you conserve resources for more meaningful goals. You could pay down debt, invest in a future career path, or cultivate experiences that bring lasting growth. Adopting a simpler appearance also eases the stress of keeping up with peers or influencers. When you decide not to flaunt your status, you free up mental space for pursuing personal passions, forming genuine friendships, and learning about yourself. Consuming fewer fast trends is also more sustainable for the environment. Even better, your personal connections often become more authentic because people are drawn to you, not your brand labels or high-end gadgets. How choosing a humbler look can shift your perspective. Shattering preconceptions. If you're used to receiving friendly service or quick attention when you appear well off, dressing more modestly can be eye-opening. You may suddenly find that store clerks or restaurant staff treat you differently. It's a stark reminder that bias based on appearances is real. Experiencing this can make you more sensitive to how others, who can't dress up, are treated daily. Building empathy. You can't fully replicate the hardships of those who have no choice but to struggle financially. But when people treat you poorly because you no longer flash brand names or a new phone, you see a fraction of the prejudice others face constantly. This realization can foster genuine empathy and a desire to support social change. Focus on core identity. Without designer logos or a luxury car as part of your identity, you might feel insecure at first. Yet this is an opportunity to explore who you are at your core. Are you funny, insightful, kind, creative? When you're not pouring energy into looking the part, you can explore these traits and see them flourish in social settings. Embracing simplicity. Spiritual traditions like Christian monastics, Buddhist monks, Hindu ascetics have long promoted modest living to free up mental space for compassion and self-reflection. Minimalism echoes this philosophy today, suggesting that fewer possessions allow us to focus on life's true essentials. By letting go of excess shopping, you might notice your mind feeling less cluttered, giving you room for deeper hobbies or more meaningful relationships. Redirecting funds toward real happiness. One huge advantage of stepping off the look-rich treadmill is the time, money, and mental energy you gain. If you stop buying luxury cars or the latest high-end tech for show, you can allocate those resources to what genuinely makes you happy. Experiences and travel. Instead of that brand new gadget, invest in a trip abroad or a road trip with friends. These shared memories often shape who you are far more than a flashy device. Personal growth. You can fund courses, workshops, or certifications that boost your future prospects and nurture your passions. Health and wellness. Rather than another designer item, you might afford better nutrition, therapy, or a gym membership that enhances daily life in the long run. Meaningful hobbies. Art, music, writing, sports, or gaming communities can offer lasting joy and authentic camaraderie. By not showing off every luxury purchase, you also steer your mindset away from constant competition. You're more likely to feel satisfied with what you have, because you're choosing investments that pay off in personal growth and happiness. Psychological and social effects. Initially, you might feel nervous about giving up the outward signs of wealth. If brand names gave you confidence before, letting them go can be uncomfortable. Over time, however, you may develop a calmer, more grounded sense of self-worth based on your character and abilities. This shift can also filter your social circle. Those who only valued your status may drift away, while people who appreciate your true interests will draw closer. Not fixating on luxury items frees you to connect on a deeper level with others. You're more present in conversations, more open to shared experiences, and less worried about whether you're winning a never-ending game of who looks more successful. This can improve both mental health and the quality of your relationships. Breaking free from the consumption loop. Modern consumer culture is designed to make you feel incomplete unless you're constantly upgrading. By deliberately choosing not to show off new gadgets, expensive watches, or luxury cars, you disrupt this loop. You don't have to renounce all nice things. Rather, you approach them with more intention. Do I really need this, or is it just to keep up appearances? That question gives you control. Instead of falling for every flashy ad or social media trend, you align spending with your actual needs and passions. You can enjoy luxury items or a beautiful car if it truly enriches your life. But you're no longer chasing them to impress strangers on the internet or maintain a fragile social status. This approach reduces buyer's remorse and lets you direct money and energy toward personal dreams, community involvement, or new experiences. Ethical angles. It's important to remember that living modestly by choice is a privilege. Many don't have the option to turn off poverty. Keep empathy and awareness front and center. Acknowledging real poverty is often traumatic, with no exit strategy. Approaching a humbler lifestyle from a perspective of learning and respect prevents trivializing genuine hardship. Also, watch out for performative frugality, where bragging about how humble or minimalist you are becomes its own form of showing off. The goal is authenticity, not just switching one type of flex for another. If you engage with lower-income communities through volunteering or relocating, do so as a collaborator, not a savior. Listen to local voices and support existing community-led solutions rather than imposing your own. If you're curious about stepping away from the rich look, start small. Skip the latest phone release if yours still works fine. Explore thrift stores for unique clothing finds at lower prices. Perhaps try public transit or carpooling to see how it changes your perspective. Those saved dollars can go toward debt reduction, skill development, or bucket list experiences. Volunteering at a local shelter or community center is another eye-opener. Show up ready to serve, not as someone distancing themselves behind expensive clothes or devices. Keep a journal to note what changes you notice in your social interactions, self-confidence, and well-being. Over time, you'll likely see patterns. Maybe you're more relaxed, less anxious about fitting in, and more enthusiastic about what you truly love. This can fuel further self-discovery. Finding true happiness. A key takeaway is that looking wealthy doesn't guarantee deep, long-lasting joy. Research in positive psychology points to relationships, purpose, community, and personal growth as cornerstones of happiness. Having resources for your needs is crucial, but continuously chasing brand names can leave you feeling empty. By choosing not to participate in that race, or at least by toning it down, you reclaim the ability to focus on people and activities that light you up inside. You might also be pleasantly surprised at how satisfying it feels to appreciate smaller joys. A calm morning walk, a home-cooked meal, a creative project, or meaningful conversations with friends. It can be a relief not to live under the pressure of constant performance, allowing you to ground yourself in authentic values. Conclusion. In a society that often equates showing off wealth with success, opting to appear or live more simply can feel like a bold move. It challenges common assumptions, reveals social biases, and helps you escape the endless cycle of bigger, better, newer. You may find unexpected benefits like stronger empathy, healthier finances, and deeper relationships. For centuries, figures like Gandhi and countless spiritual leaders have shown that humility and simplicity can unlock an enriched inner life. Today, as social media intensifies the urge to flaunt luxury, it's worth questioning whether that really makes us fulfilled. Sometimes not showing your brand new Apple Watch, latest phone, or fancy car, and instead focusing on genuine experiences, purposeful goals, and real connections can lead to a more meaningful existence. If this resonates, remember to keep empathy at the center. Recognize that for some, poverty isn't a choice. Aim to be genuine, not performative. When you ask yourself, what truly makes me happy? And you find answers like shared adventures, creative projects, and meaningful friendships, then toning down the material display may be one of the smartest decisions you ever make. Thank you for watching. Share your experiences in the comments. Have you felt pressure to display wealth you don't really have? Or found yourself buying things for social approval? How are you shifting your priorities to focus on what really matters? Let's keep the conversation going.